In a country where cash is king and trust in digital payments was once nearly non-existent, everything was about to change. A financial revolution was quietly brewing, one transaction at a time, and at the heart of it, an engineer with a vision, Tosin Eniolorunda, from quiet beginnings to building one of Africa's most powerful fintech platforms. But how did he do it? And why did no one see it coming? Before the headlines, before the billion-dollar company, there was just a boy, curious, quiet, always building something. At Obafemi Awolowo University, Tosin chose a path that would shape his thinking. Mechanical engineering, not because of the machine, but because of the systems behind them. It wasn't just about engines or equations. Tosin was fascinated by scale, how things grow, how they spread, how they touch millions. At InterSwitch, one of Nigeria's pioneering fintech companies, Tosin wasn't just writing code, he was watching how digital infrastructure could move money across a continent. But he saw something others didn't, a flaw in the system, or maybe an opportunity. And so, with nothing but a vision, he began to build. In 2015, Tosin Eniolorunda made a bold decision. He walked away from a stable job and into the unknown. With a tiny team and even tinier resources, he founded TeamApt. The mission? Not to disrupt banks, but to build for them. TeamApt started by building the digital plumbing Nigerian banks desperately needed. Scalable, secure infrastructure that could actually support a modern economy. Their first wave of tools, Monify, ApptPay, and more, quietly powered billions in transactions. Not flashy, not loud, but critical. But building infrastructure isn't glamorous, it's slow, technical, invisible, and TeamApt was bootstrapped. Every naira counted. While others chased headlines, Tosin and his team chased uptime, scalability, and trust. And in solving problems for banks, they stumbled across a far greater problem, one that no bank was fixing. It was this realization that would change everything. TeamApt had built tools for the banks, but something kept gnawing at Tosin. Millions of Nigerians, shopkeepers, traders, farmers were locked out of the formal banking system. It wasn't just about access to money, it was about survival and growth. And so, in 2019, they made the pivot. Not just a product update, but mission shift. Moniepoint was born, an agency banking platform built not for banks, but for everyone else the banks ignored. They deployed point-of-sale terminals across Nigeria, enabling real-time transactions in places where even mobile signals struggled. But Moniepoint wasn't just a POS company, that was just the gateway. It gave small businesses tools to track sales, manage inventory, and make better decisions, all from one terminal. In just a few years, they built one of the largest agent networks in Africa, serving over 1 million businesses and touching every corner of Nigeria. While competitors relied on third-party infrastructure, Moniepoint controlled the full stack, hardware, software, support. That changed everything. End-to-end infrastructure ownership meant fewer failures, faster service, and deeper trust. That was the real innovation, from solving for banks to solving for people, from engineering payments to engineering inclusion. But even Tosin couldn't predict how big it would become. From the dusty markets of rural Nigeria to the glowing screens of shopkeepers in Lagos, something extraordinary was happening between 2021 and 2023 that Moniepoint wasn't just growing, it was exploding. At its peak, Moniepoint was moving more money than some of Nigeria's biggest banks, handling billions in transactions every single month. In markets where brick-and-mortar banks had stalled, Moniepoint was flying. The world began to notice. In 2023, the Financial Times named Moniepoint one of Africa's fastest-growing companies. But this wasn't just scale for scale's sake. Moniepoint had a new mission. They were going beyond payments, now focusing on Nigeria's real economic engine, small and medium businesses. And so, in 2023, TeamApt officially became Moniepoint Inc., a company redefined, a brand reborn. No longer just a fintech, no longer just a payments company. Moniepoint had become something much bigger, a financial operating system for Africa's future. But even with all this success, what comes next may be even more disruptive. Behind every success story lie battles fought in the shadows. For Moniepoint, these were the challenges that forged its resilience. The Central Bank of Nigeria set strict rules for financial services. Every new product, every partnership required painstaking approvals. One misstep could mean shutdown. But Moniepoint learned to dance the regulatory dance, turning constraints into guardrails for trust. With thousands of agents, POS fraud was an ever-present threat. Stolen terminals, fake receipts, phantom transactions. Moniepoint responded with real-time monitoring, AI-powered alerts, and boots-on-the-ground audits, turning risk into an opportunity to strengthen their network. In markets untouched by digital finance, skepticism ran deep. Could this little machine really be trusted? Through door-to-door training, 24/7 support hotlines, and community events, Moniepoint turned doubt into confidence, one handshake at a time. To scale safely, Tosin brought on seasoned leaders, experts in finance, risk, and field operations. Strategic partnerships with telecom giants and micro-lenders expanded Moniepoint's reach and product suite, creating a true financial ecosystem. Fast growth can burn cash, but Moniepoint balanced ambition with discipline, focusing on unit economics, fee-for-service models, and affordable terminals. By staying profitable even as they scaled, Moniepoint proved you don't have to choose between impact and sustainability. Through every hurdle, regulation, fraud, trust, and finance, Moniepoint emerged stronger. But the next chapter of their journey would test them like never before. With its infrastructure battle-tested at scale, Moniepoint is now looking outward, expanding into new African markets, one community at a time, and it's not just about payments anymore. Moniepoint is evolving into something bigger, a full-service digital bank built specifically for small businesses. In a continent where SMEs make up 90% of all businesses, giving them digital tools isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. We want to make formal financial services accessible to every African, no matter their location, income, or literacy level. It's a bold vision, one that's as much about dignity and opportunity as it is about technology. With hundreds of millions in revenue, a growing cross-border presence, and massive market potential, the whispers are getting louder. An IPO, $1 billion valuation, maybe. But for Tosin, the end goal was never just the valuation. It's about the millions of lives changed, one small business at a time, from a quiet engineer to a movement reshaping finance across Africa. This is only the beginning. What does legacy look like? It's not in the headlines or the valuations. Legacy is in the 600,000 plus agents now serving their communities, in every small business owner who didn't have to close shop because someone built a tool just for them. Across Nigeria, Moniepoint has helped turn survival into growth, side hustles into enterprises, hustlers into entrepreneurs. In a continent where banks were once buildings you couldn't reach, Moniepoint redefined what financial access means. It brought financial services to where the people already were, not the other way around. And perhaps its greatest impact, it showed what was possible for other dreamers, other builders, other founders across Africa. We just wanted to solve a problem and keep solving. In solving for millions, Moniepoint left a blueprint, not just for fintech, but for African innovation at scale. From a quiet bank engineer to one of Africa's most impactful founders, Tosin Eniolorunda's journey proves one thing: real change doesn't start at the top, it starts from the grassroots. If you enjoyed this story, tap that like button, subscribe for more, and drop a comment below. Who's the next African entrepreneur you want us to feature?